guys, so for today's braai, it's really going to be simple. We're going to start off with some meats here. We've got our wors, we've got some steaks, we've got some tenderized steaks. Now obviously with a tenderized steak, when you go to your butcher and you ask them, you're going to see it by having a lot of these grooves in it. And that's because the blades are just cut into the meat as it's being tenderized and cut for you. We've got some chicken that I'm just going to slow braai. So just on a medium heat, I'm just going to quickly keep turning it until we've got a nice brown crispy outside and a really well cooked white meat in the middle. Then we've got some sweet corn again. I'm going to throw that on there with my braai broodjie. And what's going to happen there is as they brown, you know what I mean? Well, the braai broodjie, you're just going to keep flipping until it's nice and brown on both sides and the butter that's in it has melted evenly. Your sweet corn again, you just want it to, to darken and to blacken in some parts, not the whole thing, but just pieces of it, and then you'll know it's ready. It'll go a nice bright yellow, and it'll also start to look juicy, you know what I mean? So then you know it's ready to eat. And then here, simple chakalaka, I've got some vegetable acha. I'm going to throw in some baked beans, give that a whirl, a little bit of black pepper, salt to taste really, and then hey, we're going to be eating that. I'm going to take some of these peaches here. Now this is where, I'm messing around and really having a good time. I'm going to take some of these nectarines, sorry, not peaches. I'm going to cut them up and I'm going to grill them. Right, I'm going to remove the core from them, I'm going to grill them, and we're going to mix that in with a salad. So the salad that we're going to have is a mixture of green leaves, some tomatoes, some feta, it's got a bit of pine nuts in it. So it's going to be a really healthy, enjoyable salad. Pour in a little bit of olives if you like, if that's something you're into. And we're just going to toss it up, some peppers, some cucumber. It's really just going to be a lovely fresh green salad that we're going to enjoy. And like I said, really simple, to the point, enjoy it with friends. It's about taste, it's about good flavors. It's going to be a good day. So guys, now we're about to get that braai going. We're about to get some of those tenderized steaks on the fire. As you can see here, I'm using a gas braai, but if you're using a coal fire braai, just remember, when you're putting your hands over the flame, if you can count to 7 without having to remove your hand, then your flame is ready to start braaiing on. But now, let's get this party started. So, we've had a bit of a clean up here, had a little bit of onion, rubbed it on the grill, got that gas nice and hot, close the lid, let that temperature build, so when you put your meat on, it immediately gets to work. So I'm just going to lay the meat out, well spaced, not too close together. You want to get, maybe 8 to 10 pieces, and then let them cook off. And then you're only going to spice the meat once it's already on the grill. So now that we've got our steaks on, we're going to hit them with a little bit of pepper, salt, chili mix. Remember, these are tenderized steaks, so they cook really quickly. So you're going to want to turn it every 25-30 seconds. And don't be shy with that salt, don't be shy at all. And as they're cooking, you can already start to smell. That meat getting cooked. So you just want to have a good look in there. And if you want, you can just cover it up a little so that heat keeps on building and keeps on circulating in there. Then you're good to go. So guys, on many braais, when you get that dark browning, those little charred bits, that's usually the sugar that's caramelizing and cooking on the meat. So what I like to do is I like to first put the meat on there, get the meat itself to seal, get a little bit of spice, a little bit of salt into that meat as it's cooking. And then once my meat is about halfway through, then I start putting on my marinade sauce, and that's going to give me that nice brown, those nice charred bits, but I'm quite sure then that the essential flavor of the meat is locked in. So that's quite simple. You could use a spatula, you could use a paintbrush that you buy at any store, as long as that paintbrush is dedicated to marinating only. But with a spatula, on these kind of tenderized steaks, you just want to pour a little bit on there, and just give it a nice rub. If you're inclined, you can even use your hands. There's really no right way or wrong way to do this. And you just go after each and every steak as they're getting nice there. And then once you turn them over, you're going to repeat the same exercise on the other side. Remember to constantly turn your meat over, and that keeps your juices centralized in the meat so that you're not losing any juice to the bottom of the grill. Alright guys. Alright, so that's what we want. We've got a nice brown on the meat. The sugars from the marinade have really created nice crisp brown edges. So now it's really the time to take the meat off. Like I said, it's a very thin meat, it's tenderized, so you don't want to keep it there too long. Nothing more than 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes at a stretch. Alright, so now I'm just going to put all this meat in a bowl. I'm just going to ask a friend of mine to give me a bowl here. And I'm just going to pop the meat in. And you want to cover it and let it rest. Right, and that resting will just allow the juices in the meat to to reconstitute. And then you're going to have a really nice, juicy, tenderized steak. And I'm just going to put some fresh ones on the grill, and the fresh ones are going to benefit of what's already left here, because everything that's left here is just adding flavor, just adding more and more flavor. Just hand that back to my friend, and then I'm going to put on some new pieces. Again, same as before, just want to lay them out there. And then I've got some of these lovely babies here. Now this is a ribeye steak, yeah, this is going to be delicious. I call this the Braai special. This meat is only for the Braai master and for those assisting the Braai master. Everyone else is going to eat the other meat that's been cooked. This is special. This is for doing the good work. This is your reward. Got those babies there. Nice. And the same as last time, you just want to get a little bit of salt, pepper, spice on there. Get that cooking off there. And again, don't be shy. Don't be shy with that spice, huh? It's gonna cook into that meat and make it very, very delicious. And you just want to press it in with your fingers, especially on the steaks. These aren't tenderized, so you just want to make sure it gets in there. With the tenderized steaks, the crevices are already there. It'll get in. You don't have to worry too much about it. And remember what I said in the first episode, there's a reason why I particularly enjoy spicing my meat once it's on the heat. Because if you spice it before, the salt sucks the moisture, sucks the water. That's what you get at the bottom of a bowl when you've got your meat resting in there. I prefer to spice it on there, then I know that as I'm turning, I'm keeping my juices, I'm retaining that juiciness to my meat, and it's going to be great. Cool. Alright guys. Now comes one of my favorite bits. We're doing the chicken, we're doing the wors. Now the most important thing when you're using a grill is to just turn it down to a low heat. Alright, before you do that, otherwise it's going to cook too quickly, and especially with the chicken, you're not going to get any cook into the middle, and your wors is going to burn on the outside before it's cooked properly on the inside. Yep. So now with the chicken, you just want to lay it, I mean it really depends on you. You can lay it perpendicular to the grill so you can get some char marks on it, or you can lay it, parallel. That's really up to you, but I'm gonna put it nice and perpendicular here. Now what I like to do is I like to put them on different ends. So put I guess you can call this the head and call that the tail, and I put them head to tail, and that just makes sure that they're all nice, compact together. In my head, I believe it saves the juices, it keeps them all friendly and nice and delicious. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing that there with them. And then with my wors, I just love to put it in a spiral. I'm a fan of that. I'm not really a fan of individual sausages. I just think you're gonna lose juice. For me, whenever I cook meat, it's all about juiciness. So I'm trying to retain as much of that as I possibly can. So put this baby in there, get that spiral going, move them over to the side. Put the second one. And because you've turned your heat down low, it's not gonna be too dangerous for you to work over here. And once you got that there, you want to get some spice in, especially on your chicken. Get them covered nicely there. And we're gonna follow the same process that we did with the steaks. Once I've got a nice browning on them, a nice bit of a char on them, I'm gonna put the marinade on them again, finish them off as that sugar cooks in. It's gonna be delicious. Now, most people don't spice or do anything to wors. I like to mess around and sometimes, do something a little bit crazy. So I might spice this once the juices start to float around the wors, especially because you've got these spirals. It creates these lovely little pools there. So sometimes I throw a little bit of spice there just to do something funky with it. But generally, you just want to keep turning your wors until it's nice and cooked on both sides. You want the liquid inside the wors to boil and to really cook the meat in its own juices. That's really what you want. So those fats are trapped in there, they cook. That's why I don't like individual sausages, because you lose them on both ends. But here, you know, it's nice and round. I don't use a fork. I try to turn it over as simply and as softly as I can so that I don't cut the skin. And if you look at the time, it's 2:30 kickoff is in an hour. Kids at Chiefs vs Mpumalanga Black Aces. We win today, it's 18 in a row. That's a new PSL record. And then 5:30, Man United vs Aston Villa. I told you guys, I only follow greatness. I'll catch up with you guys later. So the next thing I'm going to do to these drumsticks is I'm going to apply the marinade on them, just again to get that nice continued browning, to get those nice dark edges. And then I'm going to turn my wors over. Now again, you know, if you have a paintbrush, it's a lot easier to do. You just literally just pass it all over your meat, but you can also do it with a spatula. Just literally just rubbing it on the meat. You don't want too much on chicken, because you really want to keep that chicken flavor. And obviously your marinades, most of them have a beef-like flavor. And you just want to get that on them, just a nice browning. Nothing too crazy. And then one of the other things I'm going to be doing is putting on sweet corn. So I'm going to have these babies here, sitting just on top of the chicken. And as they cook off, they're going to go a nice golden yellow. They're going to look really juicy, so it's going to look delicious. You're going to get some nice brown edges, some nice black edges, as some of the sweet corn releases with sugar and it begins to burn up a little bit. Now here with the sweet corn, you don't really need to add anything. You just let it do its business. You cover it up, and then you serve it once you've got those nice black edges on you know, 2 or 3 sides. So you just want to keep turning it as it's cooking, and then you want to enjoy that. Cool. So this is what I'm talking about in that sweet corn. When you start to get a little bit of that browning going on, that's basically the sugars that are exploding from the kernels. So you literally just want to turn those over until that golden sheen is really all over all of your sweet corn. So another thing that we're going to cook with the sweet corn is our braai broodjies. Now these are really simple to cook. Alright, you just want them to brown on both sides. You want the butter that's in them to melt really nicely. You can get these from any butcher, any credible butcher. And yeah, you get them about 8 in a pack, and you put them on. Bob's your uncle. Now I've turned the heat up to 2 because I'm going to be managing these as I cook them. So like I said, if you're going to be managing, work on a high heat. If you're not going to manage and you want to talk, you want to move away, you can close the lid, put on a low heat, and come back every 3 to 4 minutes. And within about 6 minutes, your braai broodjies should be done. Your sweet corn will probably take about a good 10 to 15. As I'm managing, I'm constantly turning it so that I get that nice brown just on 3 or 4 sides. And that's really what's going to give flavor. Now another thing that I'm also going to do is I'm going to add some nectarine halves. Now you really want to get nice ripe nectarines so that when you cut them in the halves, you can really twist them easily and pull the core out. And again, with these, you can just put them on the side. As they char from their sugars as well, they'll add a nice flavor that you can add to your salad, or people can just really eat them as part of a starter or something like that. And that's really it, guys. And then once all this is done, we're going to put it together with the meat, the green salad that's coming. You'll see that at the end when we're sharing. And it's all going to be good, it's all going to be delicious, and we're going to dig in. Alright guys, now to go with the meal that we're going to be having, I'm going to make 2 drinks. They're essentially the same. The only thing that's different is the lemonade and the cranberry cooler that I'm going to add at the end. So really all you're going to need is you're going to need a shot of vodka in each glass, right? So you can measure it with a cap. Because we're Braai, we're keeping it rustic. You want to maybe go for 2 caps if your people are a little excitable. 2. Right. Now, you want to grab some mint leaves, right? And you simply just want to bunch them together and just roll them in between your hands a little bit. And that excites the leaves and releases some of the juices. Now I'm using the butt of a knife just to hit the leaves to break them, right? And that breaking again releases the flavor of the mint into the beverage. Right, and all I'm simply going to do is, as I'm putting my ice, I'm going to hoy in the mint leaves just so that it layers, you know what I mean? So a couple of cubes in each glass, and a few mint leaves. So you just want to break them off the stem, just add them in there. This is really, it serves both as a decorative element and also as a flavor note. You'll really taste that mint. I want to add a couple more ice cubes in there. Don't be shy with them. You really want as many ice cubes as possible because that again is just going to keep the beverage nice and cold. So after you put in your mint leaves, let me put one more in there just because I really enjoy the mint leaf flavor. You want to put in a couple slices of lemon. So you don't want these too thick, you want them about maybe 2 millimeters. cut those there. Be careful not to chop your fingers off, they're essential if you're going to be a game day cook in your own house. And really what you want to do with these lemon slices is you want to take 2 of them, cut them in half. Just want to stab the cells just so that lemon juice comes out, and you want to dump those in there. You want 2 halves per glass. Right, and once you've got those lemons in there, you're just going to go into the middle. You're going to cut a radius into 2 holes, and you just want to put them on there just as a nice decorative element. Alright, then what you want to do is you want to add your lemonade and fill it to the brim in the 1 glass, and you want to add a cranberry cooler in your 2nd glass. And those are the beverages we're going to be serving with the meal. Enjoy, guys.